I get a lot of comments asking for budget tech, or specifically I get a lot of comments saying people can't afford the stuff that I cover in the videos, so hopefully I will kind of address some of those issues in this one with a bit of a budget graphics card roundup. Now of course Asus provided these graphics cards, and there are other graphics card brands that you can check out. This isn't sponsored by them or anything, they just provided the cards for me to test out. And in this specific roundup we have an RX 460, which is obviously replaced by a 560, but due to stock levels we currently have a 460, a 570 and a GTX 1050 Ti. You can also pick up a 1050, which is a little bit cheaper as well, but I thought this was a pretty good roundup for you. So a quick look around the cards. All three of them have a dual fan design. Obviously the 460 featuring considerably smaller fans than the 1050 Ti or the 570. In terms of the overall styling, the 570 and the 1050 Ti are actually the exact same cooler, and the only way you can tell the difference is that the 1050 Ti has a backplate, whereas the 570 doesn't, but otherwise everything is pretty much the same, including the outputs, both of which have a single display port, an HDMI port and two DVI ports, whereas the 460 has HDMI, DisplayPort and a single DVI port. When it comes to power delivery, the 460 uses a single 6-pin connector, as does the 1050 Ti, but the 570 features an 8-pin connector, so it does draw a little bit more power. In terms of pricing, the 460 is currently running around about £145 in the UK at the time of filming. The 1050 Ti is the middle ground here, I think £165, and the 570 is running around about £210. Also, as a quick note, thanks to Bitcoin mining, which I'm actually going to do a video on fairly shortly, the 460 and the 570 stocks are pretty low worldwide, so bear that in mind, and you will likely find it easier to get a hold of a 1050 Ti rather than one of the AMD cards. Although of course if you do plan on Bitcoin mining, then one of the AMD cards is going to be a considerably better shout for you, so I guess just keep that in mind. And another quick note is that if you're planning on upgrading one of the Dell or HP kind of office surplus systems that often have pretty awesome processors but next to no graphics support in them at all, then you'll likely want to be going for the NVIDIA card, as at least from what I understand anyway, the support, especially in the proprietary BIOSes, really only support NVIDIA graphics cards, depending on obviously what initially came with your machine. If you did have a machine that came with an AMD graphics card, then you will likely find it easier to get support with an AMD graphics card in that, and especially make sure that you do BIOS updates if you can. So what are these cards like for gaming? Well, it kind of fits into the price brackets that you'd expect them to. Obviously the 460, as I've reviewed in the past, isn't the fastest card in the world by any stretch of the imagination, and especially at £145 is pretty expensive for what you're getting. For I think it's about £25 to £20 more, the 1050 Ti is actually pretty close to the 570 when it comes to performance in games. The actual 470 is pretty slow on that front, so I really would recommend just saving that extra 20 quid and going for the 1050 Ti if you can, or of course stretch for the 570 if you want that little bit extra performance as well. So overall I am really impressed with especially the 1050 Ti and the 570, with the 460 is just a little bit slow, especially value for money side, but let's take a look at the numbers. Starting off with 3D Mark First Strike, as I said, it's kind of what you'd expect, where the 460 does a decent job, the 1050 Ti is a little bit better, and the 570 is a really very impressive card in terms of sheer power. In this same regard, Dirt Rally has a very similar result, where the 570 does a brilliant job. 1050 Ti is certainly very playable. This is on ultra settings. Same with Doom, although Doom was actually a lot closer. It was only about 10 FPS lower on the 1050 Ti versus the 570, so actually pretty impressive results there. When it comes to GTA 5, this is kind of as you'd expect, where the 460 does a pretty good job, 1050 Ti is very good for the money, and the 570 just does a brilliant job at 1080p on very high settings. Unity in Heaven is again a very similar result. The 460 is what you'd probably call playable, 1050 Ti and 570 are just doing a brilliant job for the respective brackets. When it comes to temperatures, of course these are the Strix models, so they are going to be a little bit better but a little bit more expensive than the standard versions of the cards. But as I said, when it comes to the temperatures, the 460 was running around about 63 degrees Celsius, the 1050 Ti was actually really impressive at 59 degrees Celsius, and the 570 1080p, which is running about 73 degrees Celsius. So I think that about wraps it up. If you want to see more budget tech reviews, then let me know in the comments down below, especially what sort of tech you want to see, whether it's monitors, cases, full systems, processors, motherboards, more graphics cards, anything else. Let me know in the comments down below, and I will you know, have a look, see what I can do. But yeah, otherwise, if you want to check out any of these cards, I'll leave links to them worldwide at Amazon and Overclockers UK in the links in the description down below. So if you want to check out the price when and where you watch this, then feel free to take a look at those. I'd also really appreciate it if you take a look at the general Amazon and Overclockers UK affiliate links. They really do help me out, and especially with the kind of lack of sponsorship that I have at the moment, it really does help me out when you use those, and it is genuinely keeping me in this job, so that'd be really great. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. I'll leave some other videos over here for you. I am trying to arrange a rather budget IPS 1080p monitor at this point in time, so if you want to see that, then feel free to let me know by hitting the like button, and of course letting me know in the comments, and feel free to check me out on Facebook and Twitter at TechteamGB on both. I guess that's kind of it really. Yeah, feel free to subscribe as I said, check out the other videos over there, and we'll see you all in the comments and in the next video.